So what do you do whenever you need to change the order of columns for a given breakpoint? So in other words, you start off in the extra small breakpoint with cell A and cell B, but when you get to the medium breakpoint, you need the order reversed so that cell B is represented first and then cell A. Well, in order to accomplish that and things like it, you want to reorder the columns using the column ordering classes in Bootstrap. So to demonstrate this, let's add a new HTML page. And we're going to call this column ordering. And we'll copy in our templated HTML. And I'm going to eliminate all of the cells from our default row. And here, just to kind of demonstrate the scenario we talked about a moment ago, I'm going to create two divs. Each of them, let's go ahead and add the cell. Each of them will be 4 columns in size. Or actually, tell you what, let's do this so we make it obvious. In the first version, the column size will be 8. And we'll call this first. And then the next column will only be 4. And now what we want to do is whenever we're into the medium breakpoint and larger, we want to swap the order. And to do that, we use the push and the pull classes in Bootstrap. So call, in this case, we're going to go at the MD or the medium size. Then we'll begin to do the pushing. So this will push from left to right. And we'll say, I want you to push this 4 columns to the right. Meanwhile, I want to pull this column, or this cell rather, 8 columns from the right to the left. And so now let's see what effect we get here. You can kind of see we've already previewed the punchline, but here's the extra small version. And as we get to the medium size, you should see these flip. And there they flipped. So we have the second cell first and then the first cell second. Okay, so that's the easy idea, right? But unfortunately, it can get a little bit more difficult than that. So let's take this first example and rework it. Honestly, I think what I'm going to do is just paste in something that I already have on my clipboard to show you how things can go wrong. Here we have a first, second, and third cell, and I want to take the first cell and make it last, and take the last cell and make it first, and leave the second cell right where it's at. So my first pass at this was to go ahead and push and pull the first and the third columns, but that didn't give me quite what I was hoping for. As you can see, I can only see the third column. Where did the first and the second column go? Well, they're essentially underneath the third column. In other words, I have, by pushing the first cell 4 and by pulling the third cell by 4, I have a stacking order now of the second cell, then the first cell, then the third cell stacked on top of it. So you can get into these strange situations if you're not careful. Now to remedy that, I just needed to go ahead and use the correct version, which was to pull and to push 8. And that should fix the problem here in this third version. And you can see it does. So first, second, third, and then third, second, first on that third row. Great. Okay. But yes, this is one of the few of the Bootstrap classes where you can actually create overlapped version of cells, and that's usually not something that you want. Here's another variation on that idea, and just to kind of demonstrate the fact that you can do some overlapping here, where I'm only going to push and pull 3 columns instead of the full 4 columns, so that you can kind of see that overlapping. Now keep in mind that each of these are 4 columns in width, but now I've kind of overlapped and stuck the first one, then the second one, then the third one you can see the full width of it. So just have to be careful with the column ordering because you can overlap yourself if you're not careful, if you're not doing a careful count like I didn't the first time. And you just need to be aware of what you're doing and really check your work. Okay, so that's really all I wanted to say. It's definitely a cool feature and it's powerful. I'm not sure I've used it all that often, and it can be dangerous and it can be a little bit confusing. So just make sure you test your code. Okay, so let's continue on in the next video. See you there. Thanks.